Right, so today I'm just going to do a quick video on bearings, and in this case a bottom bracket on this lovely Team UAE Emirates Carnaga V4 RS. This has a ceramic speed coated T47i, 24mm spindle, and it's beautiful. I mean, this is probably as good as a bottom bracket can get. And this bike's coming for a level 2 service, which means that the bottom bracket will be coming out flushed and packed with grease, refitted back to the bike. And unfortunately, it won't be anything like this once it's refitted. And that is, a case on most bearings, wheel bearings, bottom brackets, pulleys. And the reasoning for that is, obviously, brand new bearings, they just come in, they put the seal on, throw a load of grease in it, put another seal on it, and that's done. And they don't spin phenomenally from factory. But after a few hundred Ks, 1000 Ks, once that grease has got to wherever it needs to be, and they run as good as this, that's, the efficiency of the bearing is at its maximum. But that's only for a very short time period. So once it gets to kind of this level, it needs a service, because past this, it's going to start getting contaminated, the grease will be breaking down, and then, if you leave it too long, you're going to start getting the noise, the grinding, and at that stage, you can't really save the bottom bracket. You can put new grease in and quieten it down for a bit, but the damage is done. So, these come with lifetime warranties, but it doesn't mean that you can bring your bike in after 2 years of wet use and say, oh, I want my bottom bracket warranted because it's not right. These have, I think it's between 2,000 and 5,000 kilometers, depending on the weather conditions the bike's ridden in. As that's your service intervals. And obviously, a lot of people which have these lovely bikes like to, take care of them at home. And I see it a lot. People with pink degreasers from a brand that spray it all over the bike. The paint's all nice. There's no mud on it. Things are shiny, so they think they've done a good job. But little do they know that that's worked its way in, behind the shields, under the seals, and then it's eaten away at your very expensive bearings. So I actually don't like using any chemical agents on a bike at all. I think just warm water, maybe with a bit of washing up liquid in there and some microfiber cloths. And then it's quite important to get all the air out. I use one of these little things if I don't have my compressor to hand. These you can get online. I think I only paid 12 quid for this from a Japanese website. You see them on Amazon for about 90 quid, but if you can look around, these are excellent for getting into tight spaces and blowing out all the water. But yeah, it's really just, bearings what might make the bike, run smoothly. So you've just got to really keep on top of them. And even when you get a brand new bike build or have a new part fitted, a bottom bracket, etc., if you end up getting a little bit of lateral play in the cranks, that's perfectly normal. That just means that the bearings have kind of bedded in now, and all you need to do is tighten up the preload a tiny little bit just to take that play out, and then it should all be good. It shouldn't then have any excess play moving forward. That's something that I tell all of my clients. I try and build these bikes as perfectly from the workshop as I can. But things like play in the bottom bracket, or maybe even having to add shims to wheel bearings or tighten the preload up on wheels, is quite normal and a common occurrence. So that's me waffling on enough now. But yeah, bearing maintenance, stay on top of it. So we're just going to put this bottom bracket back together after it's had a deep clean. Just to note, Ceramic Speed actually say not to remove both seals from the bearing. But I believe that if you don't take off the back seal, you're never going to get a full clean. And also, when cleaning these out with the back seal on, if you throw a load of air in there from a compressor, it can potentially lift the seal off the back and unseat it a bit, which means that you're not going to get the best efficiency out of the bottom bracket, because it won't spin as well. And also, if there's a small gap, there's obviously the potential for debris to get in there and undo all your hard work. So these have been deep cleaned. Then I just use an IPA and air dry them to make sure that they're properly clean. Stick the rear seal on. The Ceramic Speed bottom bracket service tool is very good for seating these. So you just shove that through there, press down on here, and that's going to make sure that that seal is perfectly seated. We're going to be using Ceramic Seed UFO Long Life grease. It's winter in the UK here, so this makes sense. And this has a fill rate of 70 to 100%. I normally do, about 70-80% on this. So just grab your grease, start at one end, and then just all the way around till you get to your desired fill ratio, which I'd say is about there. Grab your other seal, stick that on. Naturally, a bit of grease will come out. Grab your service tool again, push that in, make sure that's nicely seated. And then once these are all back together, you want to make sure that it's still going to spin quite nicely. Obviously, that's got grease compacted in there now, so that needs some time to work in, but you should be able to feel that that's, absolutely spot on. So we'll go and stick that back on the bike now, after this one's done, and see how it goes. Right, so we've serviced the bottom bracket now, fitted it back into the cups, put the cranks on, torqued those up to the correct preload, so there's no lateral play there. Bottom bracket is spinning beautifully, really happy with that. Obviously not as good as it was previously before we took it off the bike, but as we said, this has got fresh grease in there now. It's just been compacted in with a seal put on. It's yet to work its way around the bottom bracket into all the nooks and crannies. But I suspect after a few 100k, once it's had a chance to warm up, have a lower viscosity and get into all the areas it needs to be, it will be much better. Also, you can maybe hear there's a slight noise to the bottom bracket as well now, and that's the exact same reasons, is that there's parts inside of that bearing that are yet to be coated with grease, and once they are, that will quieten down as well. So yeah, really happy with that, and keep on top of your bearings.